grueling road trip for the Sox to 3 very steamy destinations comes to an end this afternoon in Houston. Minute Maid Park, the site of game number 4 between the Sox and the Astros. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Sox haven't seen a win yet here in Houston. However, Avi Garcia continues to power the ball out of the ballpark.
Since coming off the disabled list, he's got some newfound power. Last year he hit .330, but this year he's hitting the ball out of the ballpark with consistency. And Avi's really heating it up. 8 home runs in his last 12 games, slugging percentage of .943. He's hitting him out in right, he's hitting him out in left. He occasionally hits him out in center, but the fact is that power stroke is evident each and every game for Avi, and hopefully he can continue it because he's been one of the bright spots.
Another bright spot has been the catching position. Defensively and offensively, Kevin Smith, Omar Narvaez are picking it up.
And they're doing it in different ways. Kevin's getting a base hit, he's getting a double every now and then, and Omar's hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and he's hitting the ball all over. The catchers have been spectacular. .358 since June 1st. On-base percentage of .390. You could hardly ask for much of anything more. Kevin has been doing a great job defensively. And yet, this ball club's still struggling for some wins. But it's not the fault of the catchers. They've been doing just about everything right. And the defense really is picking up for both of these guys. It's been a revelation.
In a season series that's lasted at least 7 games, the Sox have never been swept in franchise history. However, that's a possibility today against the Astros.
Houston is very good, and you look at everyone, the aspect of their team, their starting pitching, the bullpen, you look at everything else they do, and you realize why it's 6-0. See the runs, 54 and 15, the batting average, kind of ridiculous. The rest of it is just staggering. So Houston, the World Series winner last year, trying to do it once again. They're pretty strong in all aspects, and they do have the trading deadline. They're going to acquire a couple more pieces, and they're going to be even tougher.
Well, the Sox will be done with the Astros after today. That's the good news. Sox trying to get in the win column. As the ball's been flying out of Minute Maid Park in this series, Sox try to make that happen a couple more times against Dallas Keuchel today.
Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Well, the Houston Astros have done a number on the Sox in this series so far, and the offense is one of the most dangerous in baseball. Sox have gotten a face full of that the last couple of days, and Orbit is one of the funniest mascots in baseball. He's helping Yohan Moncada stretch before the game. They were having a nice chat yesterday, and Yohan is being a very amiable partner of Orbit. Yolmer Sanchez, however, who chucked Orbit's hat into the crowd yesterday, took him down. And there you have it. Time for the White Sox lineup, brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. It doesn't include Orbit. For the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price, go to webcars.com. Tim Anderson's been great in the one spot against left-handers. Garcia, Abreu, Davidson. Smith, Garcia, Moncada down to the 7 position. Sanchez 8, angle 9.
Defensive setup for these Astros, presented by UI Health, put out there by A.J. Hinch. Kyle Tucker, whose major league debut was yesterday, along with Kemp and Reddick in the outfield. Then it's Bregman, Gonzalez, Altuve, and Gurriel in the infield, with Max Stassi getting the nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is the one struggling starter they have, Dallas Keuchel. Former Cy Young Award winner is just 5-8 with an ERA up over 4. He depends on the slider and the cutter. Also, if his sinker is not working, then he has some big problems, and this year it's been problematic for him. The umpires for the game this afternoon: Bill Miller, the crew chief, has the plate. Then it's Todd Tishner at first, Alan Porter at second, and Angel Hernandez at third. And so this road trip coming to an end after this ball game today. It has not been productive. It's been a little frustrating, and the boys trying to end it with a win and beat Houston for the first time in their season series. So we're ready to play baseball as Tim Anderson steps in. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, the voracious Jason Benetti.
True, depending on the food in front of me. Tim Anderson, very good in the first inning this year. In fact, he has the second best batting average in the first inning in all of Major League Baseball at .444. That's second place to Brad Miller. And he's occupied typically the 1 spot against left-handed pitchers, with Yohan Moncada dropping down to the 7 spot today. As you see Tim's family here once again, his Aunt Lucille, his Uncle Roger, the folks who raised Tim down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He calls them Mom and Dad. They like to make this trip to Houston. 2-1 from Dallas Keuchel. Altuve at second base for round number 1.
Altuve right in front of that. That one took a high hop at the end, but he stayed right with it and made the play. What a year he's having.
What a half decade he's having.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable run for him. Richly deserved. He's a hard worker. And just a good, solid player in just about every aspect of the game. And now the hottest man around.
Avi Garcia, who has the best slugging percentage in Major League Baseball over his last 11 games, takes ball 1. Expect to see more ground balls like the one that Tim Anderson just hit, because Dallas Keuchel for his career gets more than 60% ground balls.
This year's been a little difficult for him. What he's lost is a cutter, and that usually has been a good pitch. And if you can't get it inside, in this ballpark especially, you're going to give up a lot of hard hit balls, especially back up the middle.
They'll throw the changeup, certainly 1 and 2 on Avi. Not a whole lot, about 10% of the time. Slider 19% of the time. And it's a slower slider than you're used to if you hear the word slider. About 79 on average.
He's really got to move the ball around to be successful. And a couple of years ago, he was all everything. That sinker was just outstanding. He kept on throwing ground ball after ground ball. That has not been the case of recent vintage.
Strike three. Sox still looking for their first base runner in the first inning in this series.
Here he takes a little something off and floats it away from Avi, and you saw the good sink on that one. Well, the early parts of the ball game, in the first 3 innings of all 3 previous games, the Sox have managed a grand total of 1 hit, and not surprisingly, no runs.
Here's Jose Abreu, who we hope we'll find out later on in the day, has made the All-Star game as a starter. We'll find out along with you around 6 o'clock tonight. Abreu's 7 for 18 career against Dallas Keuchel. That includes a double and a couple of home runs. Flip to center field, and Kemp for round number 3. It's a 1-2-3 first inning for Dallas Keuchel. Lucas Giolito to the mound after this. And A.J. Hinch's team, which won its 60th yesterday. Springer DHing, Bregman, Altuve, Gurriel, Reddick, Gonzalez, Tucker, Stassi, and Kemp 1 through 9.
Defensive setup for our Sox, presented by UI Health. And this is how Ricky Renteria is putting them out there today, with the Garcias in the outfield. Sandwiched around, Adam Engel in the middle. Then it's Yolmer, Tim, Yoan, and Jose in the infield, with Kevin Smith behind the plate. And our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Lucas Giolito. On for his 18th start, he's 5-7, his ERA just under 7. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Walks and strikeouts the same at 54.
Now the Astros did a number on Lucas in the first inning last time they saw him. First 4 batters reached and scored. And the first pitch here is ball 1 to Springer, who has 5 leadoff home runs this year. 23 for his career.
We've seen him in this series getting just a little better with each passing game as far as the at-bats are concerned. Not the result, but the at-bats are better.
Well, Houston will wait you out too. Springer's one of them, but up and down the lineup, they're second in on-base percentage, 6th in walks in Major League Baseball. Upstairs 3-0.
Well, Lucas leads the team in throwing home runs, and this is a bad ballpark for that stat, for the simple reason that, number 1, you got a red hot team. They've homered in 14 straight games, and 2, very comfortable short porch in left field.
3-0 is high, and it's a leadoff walk for Springer. Well, Lucas has said that if the fastball command's not working, that's the quickest thing to short-circuit one of his outings, and they're 4 out of the zone to open.
Now you got a guy that's just about as hot as anybody in baseball, Alex Bregman.
12-game hit streak, and sometimes you see a 12-game hit streak and it's 13 for 50 or something like that. He's 21 for his last 49.
And he's hitting for power on top of it. Was American League Player of the Month in June.
Lucas now 19 walks, 6 strikeouts in the first inning, and his first inning ERA, the highest of any inning that he's been to routinely at 10.06. One-0 to Bregman. And that's there for a strike on the edge, 1-1. What do you think it is? First inning.
I don't know if it's concentration or exactly what, but a lot of pitchers have first inning problems. Lucas's are magnified.
Up high, 2 balls and a strike. Third best batting average, third best slugging percentage in Major League Baseball for the Astros.
One of the things the Astros are going to do, they're going to run on Lucas, who's been very vulnerable to the stolen base, especially the steal of second base. Springer 6 out of 9 in that department.
He holds this time, and Bregman's plunked.
And that one got a good piece of it. He's hit for the 6th time this year, and control very much an issue to this point. It gets him right in the tricep. That's the 11th man that Lucas has hit this year.
And that's part of the reason the Sox are tied for second in baseball with 45 plunkings.
And he leads by a wide margin in a few dubious departments.
Here's Altuve, who's got a .480 on base percentage in the last 3.5 weeks. That's there for a strike. 10 times on base this series for Altuve, 6 for 11. 4 walks, just 1 strikeout.
Grounded into 9 double plays, so maybe that's on the agenda.
In the air, foul territory, out of play, 0-2. Such a dangerous 2-strike hitter.
He has been that, and he's got just a few more strikeouts than walks. 39 walks, 49 strikeouts. It's a pretty amazing number. After going 0-2, he's hitting .270, which you just never hear.
That's laughably good.
Yeah. Well, there's guys that would give their eye teeth to hit .270. Forget about being 0-2. 0-2, most of the guys have a real hard time with it.
Yeah, we told you the other day, league average at that point with 2 strikes, not necessarily at 0-2, but 2 strikes is about 170 for the year.
And 0-2, it's much lower than that.
Yeah. Ball and 2 strikes. Springer at second, Bregman at first. On the ground, back to the mound. Lucas to second for 1. The turn is a little bit late. Sox get 1. Springer to third.
Altuve can run, and he really hustles here. He knows the importance of Number one, putting the bat on the ball, which he did on a pitch way wide of the plate. And number two, making sure you don't ground into the double play. That was not an easy ball to handle. The reason is it went from the grass and hit off the mound and hit where the mound was just going up. So it hit the upslope and took off a bit. Lucas stayed with it, made a good solid throw to second.
First out of the inning, double play can end the inning as Gurriel stands in. Yuli Gurriel, who has been an RBI machine in this series with 8 knocked in.
Also leads the team in grounding into double plays with 14 of them this year. But he will put the bat on the ball. This is probably their best contact hitter overall.
On the ground, Moncada to the bag, and there is double play number 15 for Gurriel. Giolito navigates his way through traffic in the first.
To the whole true moment later in today's game.
We'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on USA Communications throughout central Iowa. Grab a day drink, watch the game, take it all in. First pitch, ball one to Matt Davidson.
Keuchel's going to stay away from Matt. He's got big power to right and right center field.
2 balls, no strikes on Davidson, who sees the second most pitches per trip to the plate of any batter in Major League Baseball this year. 4.43. They'll see at least a 4th here. Number 1 is Rhys Hoskins of the Phillies, who've gotten hot again. They're in first in a tie with Atlanta in the NL East. As Matt takes ball 4, first base runner for the Sox today.
Jake Arrieta won a ball game for the first time in a long time. And the Phils find themselves 12 games over 500. So there's some very good races. American League East, certainly Boston and New York. Boston has a 2-game lead. Cleveland's running away with it in the Central, as you would expect, and Houston trying to put more daylight between themselves and Seattle, but Seattle's been hanging tough. Winners of 7 of their last 10. They're 3.5 games in back of these Astros.
Houston's picked up a couple games on Seattle during this series. As Kevin takes a strike, the Phillies led off with Andrew Knapp this weekend, the catcher. First time in the live ball era since 1920 the Phillies have had a catcher lead off.
Shows you the great speed of their catchers.
1 ball, 1 strike on Kevin.
Seemingly it's worked.
One. Bregman has to wait for it, spin it to second, and get 1. Davidson out at second base. Kevin into first.
Kevin hustling down the line on that high hopper, and you saw Bregman hold his glove up to the lights. You can actually lose a chopper in the lights, especially in this ballpark. We'll take another look at it. He has to wait for gravity. He's trying to help it up by going up and getting it, but still, Kevin got down the line in a hurry, and there was no throw.
He can do a lot of things on the baseball diamond, but affecting gravity is not one of them.
Tried to go up to meet him, but that vertical leap of about 3 inches didn't work all that well.
The old high knee. Garcia bats and lines it into right field, a base hit. Sox with 2 on and 1 out in the second inning.
The Urie's had pretty good road trips. A couple of big pinch hits, a home run in this ballpark, which for a time looked like it was going to be the game-winning home run, only to see Houston come back in the 9th, and a base hit here in the second inning.
Now Moncada, who's trying to get his sea legs under him from this right-hand side. Ricky Renteria was asked before the game if the idea is to get Moncada more at bats from this side, why not bat him first? And he said, look, we tried that before, but Tim Anderson's been so good at the top of the lineup against left-handers, you can't really move him down.
Well, Ricky knows that, number one, Moncada's only got 72 right-handed at bats as opposed to 255 left-handed. So when you're swinging that many more times from one side, you're just going to have a better stroke. You don't usually see a veteran pitcher cross up a veteran catcher, but watch. He's waiting for a sinker, and he gets a curveball. The fortunate part for him is that it was a slow curve and he could adjust, but Stassi was crossed up, went out to the mound to say, hey, let's go back over how we're going to call it with a man at second base.
To first, Gurriel gets 1.
There was no return throw, and wisely so, because Keuchel, like most left-handers, falls off a little bit to the third base side. By the time he got to first base, the only thing that could happen was the ball would have gotten away, producing a run. So Gonzalez just sat with it and left him at the corners.
Two on, 2 out, Yomer Sanchez. Checks his swing. No go. Ball 1. Yomer's been really good with runners in scoring position this year. One of the best hitters in this spot for the Sox.
Keuchel does have 7 wild pitches this year.
Control has not been spot on so far today.
No, it hasn't been. It hasn't been near what he used to be this entire season.
Off speed away, 2-1. 14 balls, 12 strikes in his first 26 pitches. He had a couple of 4-walk games in April against Baltimore and Minnesota back-to-back, and then ironed those out, those issues before throwing 3 walks against the Blue Jays 2 starts ago, as Adam Engel awaits his chance. And he'll get that chance with the bases loaded on 2 walks and 1 hit.
Brent Strom, he's their pitching coach. Talking with Justin Verlander. Brent was a left-handed curveballer and his run as a major league pitcher.
Engel takes a strike. Adam 9 for his last 29. Steadily moving the average up, although he was 0 for 3 yesterday. Bases full, 2 out.
Really the liveliest fastball that Keuchel has thrown in his brief stint this afternoon. Up in the zone and by Adam.
One more of those?
You would think so. I don't think he wants to bury that slider in the dirt right here.
0-2. There it was. Engel with a slow grounder to second base. Altuve to strand 3. No score after 1.5.
Show your team pride with the White Sox checking, an official White Sox MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Dogs are flying off the shelves.
Well, they're hot sellers. And those, your favorite.
Nachos.
Can't put too many jalapenos on there for you.
Last time Reddick saw Giolito, he took him deep on a first pitch fastball. This time, he takes a strike. That was a grand slam back on April the 21st for Reddick. Part of that 2+ inning affair for Giolito when Houston got to him for 8 in the first 2 innings. Better result this time. Abreu for route number 1. Head to the park Sunday, July 15th. Sox take on the Royals, 1:10 p.m. All kids ages 13 and under take home a play ball, pitch grip baseball to teach them how to properly throw the most common major league pitches. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com today.
That was a good off-speed pitch by Lucas. He had Reddick well out in front of it.
Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Lucas with all of his outs so far on the ground, and that's a good sign, especially in this ballpark. So you'd think, with Carlos Correa being injured, you'd think that the Astros would be in trouble without him at shortstop. They're 29 over, and Marwin Gonzalez, when he starts at shortstop this year, the Astros are 13-2.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Good plus minus.
Marwin's just a good solid player and gives AJ Hinch all the flexibility that he wants, because you can play him anywhere in the outfield, anywhere in the infield, and you're going to get a good day's work.
Here's a guy in Gonzalez who has at least 40 starts in his career at every infield position. As you see, the breaking ball from Giolito, maybe one of his best of the year there.
I really believe that he has a good one, and I think if he throws it more, it's even going to be better. But at times, he just kind of stays away from his curveball. Why that is, I'm not sure exactly, but it's a confidence thing, because we saw him the end of last year and spring training, and it was very good.
1-2, fastball is pinpoint, surgical on the outside corner. 2 down.
Now he's starting to get the feeling for all of his pitches, and he's throwing his whole repertoire to these guys. That's what happens. You get him thinking about a curveball, you get him thinking about a straight change, and it opens up the plate for your fastball. So maybe Lucas has to pitch backward for a while. There's a lot of guys who will tell you that they want to establish their fastball and then wipe them out with something else. For Lucas, I think that everybody knows he's got a good fastball. They know he likes his fastball. So if you start establishing other pitches, then you can freeze him with the fastball.
Fastball low to Tucker for ball 1. 21-year-old Kyle Tucker, who got his first major league hit yesterday. He's right back in the lineup today. To second, Moncada. And a 1-2-3 inning for Lucas Giolito. Rapid fire to the third we go.
The art of hitting with Matt Davidson, plus a family hit by tragedy, and how the White Sox rallied around them. White Sox All Access Wednesday at 11 on NBC Sports Chicago.
Hair bit and a little bit.
How about that?
Wonder if a little bit knew Lil Sebastian.
And the dancing bits.
Tim Anderson. First pitch. Little foul. Ground ball to second for Tim, first time through. Sox trying to win Game number 31. This is game number 90 of the season. It is hard to believe that in the franchise's history, the Sox have never been swept in a season series of 7 games or more. This would be the first time with a loss today.
Really pretty astonishing.
It's a good run.
It is.
Ricky Renteria trying to get his team a victory here in Houston against one of the best teams in baseball. One and two from Dallas Keuchel. 2-2, and Tim Anderson in some select company with his numbers of power and stolen bases. 10+ homers, 20+ steals before the All-Star break. 3 guys in White Sox history. And he's currently the only guy in Major League Baseball with at least 13 homers and at least 20 steals.
That's pretty amazing. He's a rare combination.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Pitch number 7 on the way. Ground ball, second base. Altuve on the grass, and he loops it over there to just barely nip Anderson for out number 1.
Altuve doesn't make too many mistakes. It was almost one of them because Anderson hustles all the time, every time, and just barely got nipped at first base on the little floater by Altuve. So he knows he's got some time, but I don't think he wanted to make it quite that close.
That was weird.
Yep.
Avi on a breaking ball, absolutely tattoos it to left field for a 1-out single. Jose Abreu coming up. Ricky Renteria said he might be taking a little too much on his shoulders, so that's our subject of One Thing with Ricky. Ricky, how do you convince Jose Abreu not to take on too much?
Good question. It's a $1 million question. I think he's a guy that wants to. He has a leadership quality that kind of puts him in that position where he wants to carry as much of the load as he possibly can. Obviously, what we can do is talk through what the results have been over the past 2, 3, 4 weeks to show him that he's got to still remain within himself, not get outside of himself, thinking he's got to carry the weight too much, because it will directly affect his outcomes. And I think once he gets back to just knowing that he's got to just do his piece and everybody else has to do theirs, you can't make it up for them. They got to do what they have to do, but he has to remain himself, and hopefully that's coming soon.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That second pitch might be an example of that.
Well, he got surprised by the pitch after an off-speed pitch down. He got that high fastball, and it was an afterthought to swing at it.
Fights it off, back to the mound. Keuchel to second. The turn steady for out number 3. Bottom 3 next. No runs to speak of. Chicago White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. What's your favorite snow cone flavor?
Well, I like grape everything. That's a good one right there. The last one. Grape and cherry combined.
Grape everything?
Oh, yeah. Very much so. Big fan of the grape.
All right. We'll mark that down. Your birthday's coming up. Who's going to get you grapes?
Well, I like everything but grapes.
You don't like grapes?
No, I love grape juice. Don't like grapes.
What? How do you shop for you? I like grape stuff, but I don't like grapes. What's wrong with you?
Well, same thing with tomatoes. Like everything made from tomatoes but the tomato itself.
Gift card. Ball and 2 strikes on Stassi, the catcher, who's the top American League catcher in wins above replacement. Offense, defense combined, he's the most valuable catcher in the American League in the first half.
That's pretty impressive. I know it's been pretty tough in this series, and he's been using the whole field. With 3 hits in the ball game yesterday.
And he fouls it off his shoe.
Take your time. Take your time.
We've seen a lot of fouling it off your body on this road trip, don't you think?
I think when you have guys that are trying to or currently use the sinker, when they keep the ball inside, and most hitters are going to get over the top of that sinker. They're going to hit the ball, the top of the baseball. They're going to hit it straight down. It's going to get a piece of them. So the more sinker ballers you see, especially guys that like to use the inside part of the plate, you're going to see foul balls, and they're going to come in and get a piece of the hitter. You don't find that on high riding fastball guys.
2-2. Breaking ball chopped to third. Fair ball, Sanchez across the diamond. Join us Saturday, July 14th, Lucas Giolito's birthday, as the Sox take on the Royals at 1:10 p.m. for a '93 reunion. Ozzie, Bo, Tim Raine, Don Paul, Blackjack, and more. First 20,000 fans get a commemorative '93 authentic fan pennant presented by NBC Sports Chicago. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. You and Lucas going to get a cake?
We should. Or I'll just eat his cake. That's probably the best.
So you're going to have his cake and eat it too?
Sure, absolutely.
It's a variation on the theme.
I think it's a good plan.
Yeah, Lucas was still down in AAA last year when your birthday came up. Be your first birthday together. I know he's marked it down on his calendar.
Well, it is Bastille Day, you know. That's the French Independence Day. Maybe we'll split some French fries.
Oh, I thought you were just going to play the song Pompeii over and over again.
Or we'll watch Les Miserables and fall asleep.
Come on. 2-0. 3-0 now on Tony Kemp.
This is one guy you don't want to put on because he is a base stealer, and we saw what happens in leadoff walks. It cost the Sox a ball game in this series.
Kemp pinch hitting a couple of days ago. Part of that rally in the 9th. And there is ball 4. A 1-out walk to Kemp.
A.J. Hinch chose not to run with Springer after that leadoff walk in the first inning. But I don't think that he's going to remain quiet here. Now, we did see Lucas go into a slide step, and that will aid in holding base runners close.
Five pitches to Springer in this game, all out of the zone. Kemp draws a throw. Astros with 48 stolen bases as a team. That's top half in Major League Baseball, 12th. Another throw to first on Kemp. And once again, the locals show their appreciation for baseball strategy.
Lucas has given up 15 steals this year. That's third in the major leagues.
Ideally, you're something like 1.3 seconds to home.
That would be major league average. Maybe a touch below, but right around 1.3. But now that most guys are using the slide step, it is a little less than that.
Right field and foul.
What a lot of base stealers like to do, they don't like to steal necessarily on the first pitch because it's pretty easy to throw a pitch out. Although pitch out seems to be going down as team steals are going down. I mean, there's not a whole lot of teams like the White Sox that aggressively look to steal bases all the time. But usually they like to wait in a situation where they think a breaking ball is coming. Now, it's not going to be this time. That's the sinker.
1-2. There goes Kemp. That's strike three. Throw to second is not nearly in time. It's a stolen base for Kemp. 2 out now.
Good sinker, and I think I'm wondering if Kevin Smith is talking about perhaps a claim for interference on Springer. And Joe McEwing, I think, got off the phone taking a look at it. We'll take another look. I don't think you're going to get interference because that was a sinker inside, and Kevin had to move to his left to catch the ball. He drops to one knee actually behind Springer, so Springer's entitled to the batter's box.
He's not entitled to beyond the batter's box. It was close. First pitch, strike one to Alex Bregman. So Lucas walks Springer on 4 pitches, hits Bregman on a 2-1 pitch. That was the start of the game, and since then, 1 base runner.
Well, he's got one of the best in baseball at hitting with runners in scoring position. In fact, 1 and 2 are on this team. Gurriel is 1, Bregman is 2. And he's now in an 0-2 hole.
Kemp at second base. No score. High curveball. One and two. High in the air. Angle for round number 3. Kemp is stranded at second base, and we're through 3 with goose eggs. For Heroes, Charlie Morton, a supporter of the Wounded Warrior Project, and has provided a 2.83 ERA this season, but a wonderful project that hosts veterans and families at games. 25th birthday, still a kid. What's the line for kid?
You're only as old as you feel.
Okay.
I feel 120 after this road trip. I think it's humidity.
You do?
Yeah.
You walk outside, you feel like you're underwater.
But I'll tell you, this trip has not been bad in Houston. It was very bad in Arlington. It was no day at the beach in Cincy, but Houston, even outside, I know that we have the dome, but outside it hasn't been near as hot as it's been here.
Never been here with the roof open. You?
Yeah, I have, early in the season.
You like it open?
No.
That's one innovation you're down for, is domes.
I like retractable domes. I do like it when it's really nice.
First base side, Gurriel the feed, Keuchel the catch in stride for a touchdown. One down, and here is your Sox Math question for today. Hashtag Sox Math. Take the number of seasons Nellie Fox played for Houston, multiply the number without the decimal point in the team's nickname the first year Fox played in Houston. Steve's looking at it and looking at it. You have it?
I have to recuse myself because it's ridiculously easy, but yes, I have.
You know how many seasons Nellie Fox played here?
Absolutely.
Ended his career here.
10 or 12 years.
He was an Astro for one of those seasons.
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
So a little wrinkle in the question today.
Gotta have a wrinkle.
Nellie was a really good player.
Kevin Smith rips a ball to center field, and the Sox catchers continue to threaten to be in our open every day.
The production has been wonderful for the better part of 6 weeks, and that's both of them. So lifetime, he's 5 for 7 against Dallas Keuchel, so he sees the ball very well. And believe me, pitchers know when they can't get hitters out, and they seem to make more than enough mistakes for them to take advantage of it. That ball was up and out over the plate. Kevin took it right back up the middle.
Some guys you just look at and you think, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Hate to see Leori Garcia on New Year's Eve. When that countdown starts, he just wants to get to 1. You have to imagine. He swings at every first pitch. Third base, Bregman gets 1 out and no reason for the turn.
Leary too quick to think about a double play. And once again, that high chopper to third base. So for Keuchel, when he decides to go with the sinker today, it is sinking, and guys are hitting the top of the baseball, which for him has been problematic this year. He started out very slowly, started out without the command of his cutter, which he's pretty much gone away from. And then when he lost the sinker for a bit, things got very rough for him, but apparently that sinker is back.
His sinker this year, he had been allowing a .293 average on in 2018. Last year, that was down at .216.
There really isn't any rhyme or reason why you lose specific pitches at various times. Sometimes it's just the feel. Sometimes it's your mechanics. And I think in this age of baseball, it's easier to cure mechanics than it ever was. You used to have to rely on the eye of your pitching coach. When you varied, your pitching coach would say, okay, I can see exactly why things aren't going as well. Well, now you have so much video. All you have to do is take a look at one of your performances and you can tell in a heartbeat exactly what's happening, why you're deviating from what you did before. Sometimes it's coming open too quickly. Sometimes it's not staying on top of the ball. Sometimes it's either lengthening or shortening your stride. Could be any number of things.
Now the other end of that spectrum is there's so much video. You can be a constant tinkerer and move things around, shuffle the deck, when maybe just one more outing, just go out there and do it, would be better for you.
Well, it depends. I mean, every pitcher is different, because don't forget, the video you're using to get the hitters out, they're using the same video to make sure that they're not missing a pattern that you might have.
Another ground ball. Altuve for round number 3. Neither team has crossed home in the series finale. The 2018 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com.
I'd like to see you get one of those, and then where your seat would be on the flight home.
I don't say this about many foods, but sour cream is just awful. I can't.
There's a lot going on there before the sour cream got there that might have been not so great.
Helmet full of anything usually is a tie for first on the top of my list of. As Altuve hits this ball very well, left center field, and it is gone. Pizza for the media tomorrow. A run for the Astros today. Altuve cracks the score column.
9 and 44 on the power numbers. That one looked like a rolling breaking ball, and Altuve rolled it right out of here. Ford home run replay. Now that was a slider, and he got every bit of it. As Lucas got too much of the plate with this one, and Altuve, who's been a hitting machine, drives home another.
His 122nd hit before the All-Star break, as Garcia's on the case for this one. One down. 122 hits before the All-Star break. He's now third in Astros history this season. Bob Watson back in 1973 had 123 hits before the break. And then Altuve has a 130 hit season to his name before the break as well. So he's chasing his own record right now.
That is some player.
They'll finish up with Oakland and Detroit before the All-Star break. The Astros will. Mentioned the home run is good news for Brian McTaggart and the media corps here for the Astros. Susan Slusser will be in town on the Oakland beat because Altuve sends up pizza to the media members After every game he homers.
And not just a couple.
Oh, no.
It looked to me like there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 pizzas.
Yeah, Paul
Maybe
Sullivan
more.
had 2 himself.
Yeah, and he didn't have a lot of place to put them.
Come on. 2-1. Foul ball from Reddick. 2 balls, 2 strikes. First hit of the game for the Astros, a home run for Altuve. Giolito a couple starts ago against Minnesota went into the 6th inning with a no-hitter. Three and 2. There's Sully and Daryl Van Schouwen taking in the game from the same thoughtful position, evidently. The head scratcher is why he's sitting next to Sully.
Yeah, Daryl is trying to figure out how to write about runs. There hadn't been too many in this series.
That was some help on the ground ball, and the at-bat continues. That's Homewood Flossmoor's finest, Paul Sullivan.
It seems like just about everybody that works in media these days in the Chicagoland area is originally from Homewood Flossmoor. Chuck Garfine, one of those guys.
Lawrence Holmes, Scott Merkin.
Pretty amazing. How about you?
Yep. They gave me a diploma.
Which one, from Homewood or Flossmoor?
Thank you for asking. 3 and 2, line to right field. Avi's back on it, and he's got it for out number 2. Here's your Sox math winner for today. Got to do math to write the winner's name. White Sox 061705. Nellie Fox played 2 seasons in Houston, multiplied by 45. Houston before the Astros for a couple of seasons was the Colt 45s, and so 2 times 45 is 90, and that is your winner. The Hall of Famer Nellie Fox, Jacob Nelson Fox.
And for those of you who don't know a great deal about that stadium, apparently one of the most popular of the concessions was a spray of something that killed mosquitoes.
A lot of bugs.
A bug repellent spray for 50 cents. And it saved your life in many instances. Lots of mosquitoes, and the humidity was otherworldly.
They
There
still
it
have,
is.
yeah, 45 stuff around this ballpark here, celebrating their name heritage.
Tradition, as well as those rainbow Astro uniforms.
Oh, I love those things.
Do you really?
I do.
Jeez.
That was very close. Should have been a strike. 2-1.
Pretty good pitch. Did not get the call. But by and large, in the early going, Bill Miller has been very good behind the plate.
See on the side of those uniforms, kind of the remnants of those
Yep.
old
That's it.
Merv Griffin Show carpet Astros jerseys.
Harken to years past. Tradition.
You don't like those, I take it.
No, they were all right. It's just that they had a group of pitchers that threw unbelievably hard, and they were not an easy team to beat because of those guys. Even then, they didn't have the greatest offense around, but they had wonderful arms, taking advantage of the dome.
3 and 2. Today is actually the anniversary of the 1980 All-Star game that we talked about yesterday.
1-0, I believe. Yes or no?
4-2.
Well, that was close.
You left early.
Yeah, it was 1-0.
You remember the part where you were in?
Oh, wait a second. I thought you meant the All-Star game here.
No, the 80. The J.R. Richard game.
L.A. Yes.
Engel with the catch for out number 3. There's only 1 seat left from the Astrodome, and you can sit in it if you come here real quick for this game. into the 5th inning. A cavalcade of Sox fans at this series. We saw a big group in the hotel lobby yesterday after the game. The Grinders are here taking in the entire series. And that's good to see. It's been a tough season win-loss wise, and people know that this is one of those rebuilding seasons, but it's good to see Sox fans traveling in large groups.
See a lot of Sox fans around the hotel. That's kind of nice. And within walking distance of the ballpark. That's even nicer.
See, that's one of those pitches where Stassi and his pitch framing come into play.
Well, if you put the glove off the plate and the pitcher then hits your glove, you're going to buy him 2 inches outside. Stassi, originally a 4th-round pick of Oakland, came over in a trade.
Yolmer takes a strike, 1-2. Yolmer Sanchez, who was in a battle with Orbit, the mascot, yesterday, and it spilled over to today. And he decked Orbit, who was just trying to stretch for the game. Another ground ball. Marwin Gonzalez in one motion.
That was a good play, and the only reason he was able to make it was that he carried his glove low enough. Remember, for all you young infielders out there, keep your glove as low as you possibly can, because you can come up with the hop. If you keep your glove high, you cannot go down if it straightens out on you. Came up with the hop and got it over quickly.
He's a problem solver for A.J. Hinch. You got a gap somewhere, Marwin Gonzalez jumps in there, and that's a lesson to young players in pro ball right now. Forget about young kids, young players in pro ball. If you can pick up a couple extra positions, you could become that guy and have a spot for yourself somewhere on the diamond when your team needs it.
Well, you're going to have to do that in this day and age of baseball, because they're going to more and more pitchers in the bullpen, because it's a bullpen game, and every pitcher you add in your bullpen is one less move off the bench, meaning your guys who are bench players have to be much more versatile than they were in years past.
Adam to left field, well hit, and it is high off the wall. Tucker drops it. Engel turns it back on. He's on his way to third. He is safe as the ball gets away. Adam will stop at third. Good read as Tucker put it on the grass, and Adam gets into third.
But to me, it should be double E7, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll watch it again. So he's got it here, but on the transfer, he misses it.
And Adam was breaking it down.
Yeah, and that allowed him to go to third base. And it is double E7.
So now Tim Anderson infield in, as his at bat just changed with one swing from Adam Engel. And I was talking to Todd Steverson about this type of thing before the game today, and Todd said, look, when you're in the on deck circle, what you're expecting from a pitcher may change in the 8 to 10 seconds before you arrive at the batter's box. And that's exactly what happened. Now Keuchel's looking for something different, maybe, than what he would have wanted from Tim Anderson in a bases clear 2-out spot.
Well, Tim is looking for something different also, because with the infield in, you're trying to take a guy who's thrown 10 ground balls in this game, that's Dallas Keuchel, and induce him into getting one up in the zone so you can hit your first sacrifice fly of the year.
Check swing. He did go, says the plate umpire, for strike 3. Bill Miller punches him out. Tim says at least check over at first.
And Avi is trying to push Tim away. Ricky comes out. He doesn't want to lose Tim Anderson against a left-hand pitcher at this juncture of the ball game. Nice stop by Stassi. Looked like he might have gone around on it. Tim wanted him to check, but Bill Miller said don't have to.
Bill actually gave Tim a while there of conversation, Some umpires have pulled the trigger on an ejection faster. Tim hot for good reason as well, because it is a tough thing for the plate umpire to see.
Well, I think what happens is this, Jason. I think that it's an easier pitch to take your eyes from the ground to the bat if the pitch is in the ground. I think that like a high fastball, you're looking for a check swing, you're looking at the ball all the way, because you know it's got a chance to be a strike or not. When it's in the dirt, it's not going to be a strike, so you then can look at the swing. And I think Bill Miller was trying to tell him, I don't need the appeal, because he was looking at the swing once he knew the ball was dipping into the dirt.
So essentially he says, okay, this is a ball, now to the swing.
Right.
Bregman cuts off Gonzalez, and the Sox rally all at once. Halfway home, 1-0 Houston. Look forward to a Sox win, too. It would need to be a comeback today as the Sox are trailing on a Jose Altuve home run. Lucas Giolito, one of the rare opponents he will be older than this season. It's 21-year-old Kyle Tucker. Lucas, 23 years old. You know, James Shields was the first pitcher that Tucker faced in his major league debut. Shields punched him out a bunch of times. And James, 10 years ago, 2008, was pitching for the Rays. He was pitching in the World Series eventually. And Kyle Tucker was 11 years old. He was growing up in Tampa. He went to Plant High School in Tampa. So Tucker grew up a James Shields fan. He gets out to the batter's box. Shields throws him like one fastball, sees the swing on the slider, and all of that James Shields tenure that Tucker watched growing up played into Tucker getting punched out a bundle of times yesterday because Shields just kept throwing him sliders.
3 straight strikeouts and then the base hit with 2 outs in the 7th inning, and it wound up leading to a run.
It's tough when your heroes aren't as nice as you expected, right? 3 straight strikeouts, Shields to Tucker. Was joking around with James that Kyle Tucker called his family and said, look, you got to tear those posters down at James Shields. But a lot of first Astros hits against the Sox in recent memory. A.J. Reed, Tony Kemp, Carlos Correa, and Tucker now all against the Sox.
Mercifully, they skipped last year.
Anderson throws Tucker out, 1 away. Who was the guy that, and I know you wanted to feel like you belonged with every hitter, who was the hitter that you looked at and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm facing this guy?
I don't think it was a hitter. It happened in my first start, and I remember bouncing the baseball up in my hand and turning around, and there was Willie Mays in center field, and I went, oh my God, he's chasing down my mistakes. Willie Mays, one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. And that was something that, you know, I just remember. I remember it was the moment like it was yesterday, looking out there and, yeah, seeing number 24 running around in the outfield.
He's chasing down my mistakes.
Chasing down my mistakes. Yes, indeed.
One ball, one strike on Stassi.
Outfield straight away and infield pretty much the same. Moncada, if anything, is playing up the middle. They're giving him a bit on the right side.
Slowly hit, Tim Anderson. Bring your family of 4 to a White Sox game for as low as $49. Our family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas. Upper and lower level packages are available, and you can check out all the available dates at whitesox.com/4packs today.
Lucas is throwing the ball very well today. He's given up just the 1 hit, the leadoff home run last inning, which is the difference in the ball game. But outside of that, walked a couple, hit 1, but they haven't really hit the ball all that hard, and when they have, they've hit it at somebody.
He gets the strike to Kemp. Talking about Shields in the context of Tucker, but James did something yesterday that no Sox pitcher had done so far this season. He's got 20 swinging strikes. 20. A season high for a Sox pitcher. That was in 99 throws to the plate. In the air, left-hand side. Garcia for out number 3. 6 in a row sent away by Giolito after the home run.
Goes one-on-one with Danny Farquhar. Danny opens up about his brain injury, what life has been like since, and his desire to get back to the mound. So watch Inside Look, presented by Cadillac, next Friday at 7, or stream the show on the NBC Sports app. That's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it is. Looking forward to that and hearing from Danny. As Jose Abreu goes after the first pitch. 0-1. Is that for you? Being delivered right to you?
Well, looks like a hamburger and a hot dog, so yeah, no problem there.
Foul ball. 0-2 on Abreu, who's stuck on 136 career home runs, just outside the top 10 in Sox history. This baseball game in 2018 through 5 innings features 4 walks and 4 strikeouts combined.
It also features just 5 hits.
This is the low batting average on balls in play game of the day. Two and two. To right field and falling down for a hit. Jose 1 for 3. Well, Chris Kampka's in the truck, and so it's time for the swap meet. A live swap meet. Let's see what Chris has cooked up here in Houston. Senor's swap.
I get the first pick today.
You do.
Well, the first thing would jump out at you is a much higher batting average and more runs batted in and less strikeouts, better on base percentage, better slugging percentage. It's a trap. It seems like it, but I'll take the guy on the right anyway. Even if I'm trapped, I'll keep him.
It's got to be a trap. I think I just got something great.
I would think so too. He probably got something in his first 10 minutes in the big leagues, and he went on to hit 1,000 home runs. Something like that. Yeah.
0-1 to Matt. Sox trying to get on the scoreboard against Dallas Keuchel, who has pitched to contact much more than the other starters in this series. McCullers, Morton, and Verlander. A grand total of 30 strikeouts compared to 2 walks.
That is some starting rotation and 75 pitches for Keuchel.
Sox big inning yesterday was the 6th inning with 4 runs against Charlie Morton.
They're 60% of their starting rotation.
To first, Gurriel forgot something and only picks up the 1 out. Abreu to second base.
That could prove very costly because he'd have had the force out. I'm not sure if he'd have had the double play or not. But cutting down the lead man in a 1-run game is always preferable. But by dropping the baseball, Jose moved into scoring position. They would not have had a double play because Keuchel never got to the bag.
Keuchel in charge of choreography on that play.
Did a 360 spin and still had no chance of getting there.
Kevin Smith.
Keuchel's nemesis, Kevin Smith.
5 for 7, a double, a home run, 4 driven in all time, a walk, no strikeouts. .10 is there. See the number 60 on his back, Dallas Keuchel. When he was coming up through the minor leagues, he wore number 57. That jersey number had not been handed out to any Astros players since the passing of Darryl Kyle. But when Keuchel showed up in spring training for the first time, he got to know the clubhouse manager, and the clubhouse manager was fond of Dallas and his personality, and he said, I'm going to give you number 57 because you will wear it with class. Dallas wears number 60 in the majors in deference to Darryl Kyle, but the number that he wore growing up as a minor leaguer was 57. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, so far, what looks like a concession to his lifetime average against him, Darryl Kyle looks like he's in a pitch around mode.
So 3-1 from Keuchel to Smith. And Garcia next. He hadn't seen many pitches from Keuchel. On the ground, Smith gets the runner over to third. Abreu is 90 feet away. And let's see exactly what we purchased at the swap meet today from Senor Swap, cash only, Chris Kamka. You got the guy on the right, I got the guy on the left. This looks like easy money for you.
Maybe not.
Oh, it's home Altuve and road Altuve.
Yeah, I'll take the road Altuve. Much better.
Yeah, the home version, the home game, if you will, has been quite good in this series, but on the road, kind of surprisingly, the numbers are significantly up.
It's been great.
Oh, 0-1. Rolled to third, and this ball is foul.
That ball was coming back into fair territory. It was one of those things that came with unusual spin, and Bregman, who ran into foul territory, had to reach back. Looks like it's going well foul, and then takes a kick back, and Bregman actually catches it very close to the bag. It was in foul territory, but if he lets that ball go, which he wouldn't, once it went foul, you want to touch it. That ball might have crossed the bag fair.
He's had quite the bounce festival today. A couple of high choppers at third. That one that nearly kicked the bag on the way by. As Stassi keeps it near him, Abreu has to hold at third. Dallas Keuchel has thrown 1 fly ball out in this game.
It was Abreu, a softly hit ball that ended the first inning. He has thrown 13 ground ball outs.
Fouled back. Garcia stays alive on a long reach.
Time Keuchel went to an overhand curveball, which is something that we haven't seen much of. Not from him anyway.
We'll find out in a couple hours whether or not Jose will be starting for the American League in the All-Star game. 2-2 on the ground at third. Bregman sure-handed on target. Leadoff single, can't score, still 1-0. made some defensive changes. Daniel Palka has checked into the game. Abisail Garcia has left the game. And so the Sox with a shape-shifting lineup for Ricky Renteria. Third base side, Sanchez, foul territory, sets, and a cannon for out number one.
Well, that was a big throw from foul territory as Yolmer went to the line, crossed the line, and still was able to throw out Springer. I don't think Springer can believe some of the plays been made on him in this series. Yolmer plants the back foot, guns it across, and gets him.
That little body can let her rip.
Yeah, that was a good throw and a strong throw and very accurate.
One down for his counterpart, Alex Bregman. And Giolito guns in a strike. Hey, you're talking about with Springer, Tim Anderson with that backhand play a couple of days ago.
I know that's a couple of plays in the series that would have been base hits, but for some defensive heroics. I like the fact that Lucas is using his straight change a bit more.
One run allowed on the home run from Altuve. That was very close, 1-2. First two batters of the game, a walk and a hit by pitch, and after that, just two on base against Giolito. 1-2. A swing and a miss for strike three.
Another off-speed pitch, and that time he got Bregman out on the front foot, couldn't keep his hands back, and he goes down. So the impressive performance continues for Lucas. Well, he's changing eye levels, he's changing pitch speeds, and he's handcuffed a very good Astro lineup.
One through nine may be the best lineup the Sox will see this year, depth-wise. Do you think?
Well, especially when they're all together. Yeah, you put McCann and Correa in this lineup to go with what they already have. It is solid top to bottom.
Sanchez playing in for round number three. To the seventh inning we go, just one run on the tote board. Academy runs summer camps in baseball, basketball, and fast pitch softball for boys and girls ages 5 to 12. The Academy offers multiple camp locations all around Chicagoland. Campers get a stadium tour experience, ticket vouchers, and much more. 630 Play Ball is where you go. First pitch, ball 1 to Yoan Moncada, who's grounded out twice. Once a fielder's choice, once 4-3. This one in the air, right field side. Reddick has no play. Keuchel has officially, we've checked with the baseball folks, officially scattered 5 hits today.
And officially keeps throwing lots of ground balls.
There's one that sneaks through. Base hit from Moncada. Yolmer Sanchez coming up. He is the road interleague hit leader this year for the Sox, which leads to our random White Sox leaderboard of the day. Career interleague hits on the road. Paul Konerko just drilled everybody else. 107 to 74 ahead of Ramirez, and then AJ with 70. Ray Durham. Paul Konerko, your random White Sox leader of the day. If you have a random White Sox leaderboard that you like, that you've dug up, please tweet it at us. At Jason Benetti, at Steve Stone. And your random White Sox leaderboard may end up on our telecast.
You get a prize?
Yeah, your leaderboard ends up on our telecast. That's your
the
prize. Isn't that fun?
Nah.
No? I think it's great fun. Maybe you will be on somebody's random White Sox leaderboard.
Perhaps.
You were random.
Most of the time.
2 balls, no strikes on Sanchez. Moncada with his speed over at first. Sanchez ahead in the count. Fouled away, 2-1.
Pen up and going. Colin McHugh. Starting pitcher who doesn't start. Winner of 19 a few years back, 19-7.
Avi officially tightness in his right hamstring.
That's not good.
He is day to day as Sanchez takes ball 3.
Pitch number 96 on the way.
Yoan at first, 3-1 to Sanchez. Sox trying to get a late lead in this game and win the finale of this series. That's ball 4. 2 on, nobody out for Adam Engel.
Now they're going to have a meeting at the mound, and they're going to talk about what kind of defense they want. Now Brent Strom is coming out. One of the reasons he's coming out is not necessarily to tell a veteran pitcher what he wants him to do, but he wants that bullpen a chance to get a whole lot looser. Goes 2 on very quickly here. And McHugh getting ready.
Well, play this forward. If Engel decided to bunt, you would imagine McHugh would come in for Anderson and avoid the lefty righty scenario. But then you've got Polka third up as the all-star manager for this year in the American League. AJ Hinch thinks over his options. Sox have a walk bonanza in this game with 3. That is the combined total from the first 3 games.
We'd like to say there's a lot of guys swinging at pitches out of the zone, but it wasn't. They were swinging at strikes.
Tough pitch to bunt.
Yeah, once you square around the bunt, that's when you either have to drop the bat or just try to do something to stop it, because the only resolution of that is you're going to pop it straight up or foul it back.
Adam doubled last time. He's 1 for 2. There's the bunt, third base side of the mound. Keuchel has a long throw and out, very close. Moncada to third, Sanchez to second.
This is a good bunt by Adam, who has proven himself to be a very good bunter. Leaving Keuchel with only one play, he gets it there just a half step ahead of time. Swagel now with his 6th sacrifice bunt.
They're going to let Keuchel face Anderson.
And they're going to bring the infield in. The infield in, especially at the corners. They're even with the bag in the middle.
Ball low. In his career, Tim has hit lefties very well.
And Tony Kemp is very shallow in center field, so Tim can easily hit one over his head.
Ball and a strike.
That's the pitch that he really wanted, because he got a fastball up in the zone at the 100 pitch mark.
Moncada at third, Sanchez at second. 1-1. In the air, right field. Reddick is back. Moncada is tagging. Here he comes. He scores, and the Sox have tied the game on the sac fly from Tim Anderson.
That is the first sacrifice fly of the year for Tim. And Reddick, with a well thought out play, got the ball into third base. He wasn't going to get Anderson. Wasn't going to get Moncada. He just realized that keep Sanchez at second, because on a wild pitch, of which Keuchel has 7, he's not going to score. Plenty far enough. And Reddick, with a very good arm, sets up and makes a good throw to third base.
And Sanchez tried to get the takedown on Altuve, which counts for 3 points. Daniel Palka in for the injured Avi Garcia. And ball 1 from Keuchel. That's threaded in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Over the mound, flat bounce. Gonzalez, neatly done. There was some peril in that grounder. Gonzalez handled it. Sox tie the game at 1.
Fan night at Guaranteed Rate Field. Watch the Sox take on the Cardinals and visit the authentic fan booth located outside sections 157 and 158. While you're there, grab a free beach towel while supplies last.
Sox will go back home to take on the Cardinals. Here are the Verizon projected starters for that series. Covey and Rodon on the mound. Michaelis and Weaver for the Cardinals. Let's go around Major League Baseball. We've shown you some great defensive plays from people named Keon recently. Let's go spelunking. Jake Cave for the Minnesota Twins. He jumps on Thursdays. Then on Fridays, he jumps again, saving the sod. Then on Saturday, kind of a jump divey thing to make the grab.
That was easy compared to the other two. But his pitcher's very happy, as they usually are when you do something like that.
Yeah, very happy. And Lucas, by the way, has got to be pleased with today. He's given up one hit.
I think he's ecstatic. Now he's got to go through the middle of the order, and he's got a tie ball game to deal with.
First pitch fouled off by Gurriel.
Minimum of pitches so far, as you would expect. Walked 2, hit 1, and gave up just the 1 hit.
To left field on a line and off the wall. Bouncing back into play. Gurriel has a double.
Take another look at it as Gurriel goes down and hits a rocket. Then the carom is very difficult to deal with. Daniel can't get to it. And as you see, getting trapped too close to the wall, but he thought he could make the catch when it left the bat. Turned out he couldn't. That's a go-ahead run out at second base in a pull situation for Reddick, who does that normally.
First one, strike one. One ball, one strike. Palka in with Avi Garcia's hamstring injury, forcing him out of the game. Hamstring tightness, Avi day to day, the official word from the Sox. One in the air, center field. Angle back on it, and he has a play. It does get Gurriel to third with one out for Marwin Gonzalez.
And they're going to appeal at second base, I think. I think they might have thought that he left early. As it turned out, no. And now Ricky wants, and justifiably so, wants the infield in. Now, for a while, Gurriel thought that Adam wasn't going to get to it. It's really tight at second base. Alan Porter was watching the tag all the way, and so although Yolmer tagged him at third, they're not going to appeal the play at second.
Well, Marwin Gonzalez, for his career, has been a much bigger ground ball hitter than he's been this season. His percentages are way down. Many more fly balls this season. Sox have the infield in playing for that ground ball contingency.
Well, he can do a lot. He's got 3 sacrifices and 2 sacrifice flies. So whatever A.J. Hinch would like of him, and you would think he'd be swinging away. Don't think they'd want to waste a righty-lefty matchup, especially with all of Gonzalez's power coming from this left side.
Bunt shown and a strike.
He jumped out of the way of a fastball right down the middle. Kind of unusual. Astro pen busy.
0-1. Another bunt popped up. 0-2.
That time he dropped the head of the bat on a pitch away and popped it back over the screen.
Yeah, Marwin Gonzalez has not had the same offensive season as he has in years past, but still a weapon.
That's surprising. One shown bunt, one actual bunt, because Gurriel doesn't have big speed. He doesn't run slowly, but he doesn't have big speed.
He got it down this time, and he scores the run on 2 strikes. Marwin Gonzalez deadens a bunt to make it 2-1 Houston. Quite the gamble from A.J. Hinch, and it comes up roses.
Well, Marwin is the best sacrifice bunter on this team. And that's his 4th and a run batted in, and a big one. RBI number 36. Perfect bunt.
So the leadoff 2-base hit comes into play as Giolito drops in a curve to Tucker.
Gurriel doesn't look particularly pleased. I'm not sure that he actually knew what was up. I don't think that was a call.
You don't?
Well, he's acting as if, look, I mean, he was a little animated and talking with Marwin. Interesting.
Well, that would be rather shocking if he shows bunt. The thing is, Gurriel got there pretty quickly.
It wasn't a suicide.
No.
But when he laid down a good bunt, Gurriel scored easily.
1-2. Moncada at second base, and that is it. 2-1 Houston with the lead. Each team scores in the 7th. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Get a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Colin McHugh. Out for the 29th time. He's 4-0, ERA .88. 54 strikeouts in 41 innings. So we saw him in the ball game yesterday. He pitched an inning, and it was a perfect inning. He's got to go right through the middle of this order. And Keuchel went 7, gave up a run on 6 hits. He walked 3. He fanned 2. He is the pitcher of record. And there's the bunter of record, Marwin Gonzalez.
Colin McHugh hasn't allowed an earned run in 13 2/3. So he's due as he throws ball 1 to Abreu. This has been a very old school game. 5 strikeouts combined by the batters.
And pitching dominated.
Winds in there for a strike, 1-1. Breaking ball down and out. Colin McHugh, who when he was selected in the draft by the Mets in the 18th round in 2008, he got bored listening to the draft on radio, and his dad was following it on the computer and said, "Hey kid, you got drafted." In the air, right field, and Reddick for out number 1. Told you about the injury to Avisail Garcia. He is out of the game with a hamstring problem in the 5th inning. Take a look at this ground ball. And the hamstring starts to act up.
Yeah, right there about halfway, you could see it on his face. Right there. And unfortunately for him, he missed about 7 weeks before, and geez, hopefully he doesn't have to miss any more time. He has been swinging it great. So McHugh went from the Mets to Colorado, a brief stay at Colorado, and then on to Houston, where things have gone unbelievably well for him. Colorado, we found out what a whole lot of other people have found out before him.
Don't pitch there?
Well, 9.95 ERA. If it got to 10, they had to sell. So they did send him to Houston, where he was 11-9, 19-7, 13-10, and then 5-2 last year.
Problem was the Mets already sold because he was at 10.29. Shipped him off to Colorado.
He was that, but he found out how to do it when he got here.
Right field for Davidson. Reddick on the run to the corner. He goes sliding. It's a foul ball.
Made a nice effort for it. Came away with a knee burger. That's about it. He thought he should have had it, but it would have been a terrific play. He goes over, and just as it crosses into foul territory, the ball hits off his glove. So, I mean, again, he thought he should have had it, but it would have been an outstanding effort. The ball did hit in the glove, but rolled from the heel all the way out of the web.
When you make the choice to slide in the corner there, you're going to lose some control over the glove.
Ringing endorsement for the Webb Auto Group.
Wow, I don't know that they ever saw that coming.
It would be a fairly obscure reference, and it would only come into play every now and then, but
One and two on Davidson. Line foul right side. Seven innings for Dallas Keuchel. Third Houston pitcher to go 7 in this series. Charlie Morton 5 2/3 yesterday, the only one not to get through 7. Sox are in danger of being swept twice by the Astros. 3 at home, 4 on the road. That hits Davidson. Tying run on base.
And that got him very good. Matt is going to feel that one for a while. Looks like it's on the left forearm.
And Charlie Tilson's going to come in. Hit or not, and you can hear the contact there. Hit or not, Davidson was going to come out for a pinch runner if he was on base, and Charlie Tilson is that man with the speed to provide that tying run with a romp around the bases. Kevin Smith to right field. Out number 2. So the Sox now with just Omar Narvaez on the bench, with Tilson checking in.
Opportunity for Leury to turn around and hit from the left side. He already has a home run in this series as a left-hand hitter, is Herm Schneider. Talking it over with Matt Davidson to see if maybe they want to take a look at it. It is swelling up as we speak.
Not the best couple minutes you could spend on a Sunday afternoon getting hit by a pitch.
Especially close to that elbow.
Breaking ball strike to Garcia.
Leury a better hitter as a right-hand hitter, but more powerful as a left-hand hitter, and that's a recurring theme with switch hitters.
Oh, 2 on Garcia. Now the oddity of this game with the Sox having just 2 strikeouts. Sox are last in baseball in strikeouts by hitters with 858 of them. The Astros are well in first as a pitching staff with 960 strikeouts coming in, but just 2 on the combination today. And number 3 is a painful one. Sox strand 1. We'll go bottom 8. Chuck Garfien with an update after this. Looking for his first career complete game. That could come with an 8-inning effort with a Sox loss at 2-1. Certainly he'd like to see that scoreboard flip as Stassi takes ball number 1. Two runs allowed, the home run from Altuve and the RBI on the bunt from Marwin Gonzalez.
Bottom part of the order to come up in the 9th for the Sox, so to have a real good chance, Lucas has got to whip up a very good bottom of the 8th inning.
Good start. Anderson has time. Hey, Sox fans, you win with Papa John's Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, you get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com when you use promo code SOXWIN. That's valid at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. One out for Kemp. Sox do have a reliever up. It's Joakim Soria in case of a need to close the game in the 9th. But no middle relievers up right now.
Kemp thinking about a bunt, and he knows his job is plain and simple to get on base and then try to steal a bag as he did back in the 3rd inning.
Two and 0. We'll find out very shortly whether or not Jose Abreu, a couple hours, whether or not Jose Abreu has been voted in as the starting first baseman for the American League All-Star team. His manager would be AJ Hinch, who's in that dugout for Houston, the skipper of the Astros, who today added Kevin Cash to his coaching staff, the Tampa Bay manager. And AJ Hinch, when asked why, he said jokingly, Kevin's got a lot of experience handling 9 pitchers in a game.
I was going to say, because he starts relievers, you're going to see a whole lot of that in the All-Star game.
Over Yomer into left. Kemp with a single, and his bunting ability got him that hit.
Well, you see it all the time. That's why I talk about guys with good speed at least showing bunt as much as they possibly can, because then you bring them in at the corners. If you do that, you've got some room to just ease it over their heads. And Kemp took this ball off the ground, just got it over the head of a drawn-in Yomer. And that allowed him on base as a key base runner late.
Bat pieces everywhere. Kemp to first, and Springer the batter. 94 pitches for Giolito. We showed you yesterday the Astros are, batting average wise, the best bad ball hitting team in baseball, and it's not close.
A lot of contact hitters on this team.
Softly in there for a strike to Springer, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a walk and a ground out to third. This already is Lucas's career long outing at 7 1/3. Kemp's off. Pitch is low, and he's got that stolen easily. Second stolen base of the game for Tony Kemp.
Lucas went away from the slide step. Maybe it's because it was a breaking ball and given Kevin Smith no chance whatsoever, as Kemp was off to the races and stole it. If not uncontested, it was an easy steal.
One and the dirt. Springer 3 hits in the series, 1 in each of the first 3 games. He came in 5 for his last 65. Three balls and a strike. Three balls and a strike. Kemp at second. That's fouled away. 3-2. This has been the inning to beat all innings for the opposition on this road trip. Game number 10. The Sox have allowed 26 runs in the 8th inning. Three-two, nearly found its way into the zone, did not. And 2 on, 1 out.
Every last at bat for the Astros has been really difficult. First game was 2 runs scored and a win of that game, and then 7 runs scored in the second game of the series, and 3 runs scored in yesterday's game, all coming in the last at bat the Astros have had. So Ricky Renteria telling Lucas he did a great job, and he did. And he's going to leave this one, and as he walks out, we'll step out, and we'll be back with Soria coming in. Called to the pen, Lakeside Bank. It's about time, and Soria comes in the ball game. Joaquim's 0-3, but 12 of 15 in save opportunities. This is not one of those. ERA an even 3. Got his hands full. He's got a couple of really good clutch hitters on this ball club and in baseball. 1 and 2 in baseball is Gurriel and Bregman. So Bregman coming up, and then you got to wend your way by Altuve if he does not hit into a double play.
Bregman's 12-game hit streak on the line. 24-year-old infielder for the Astros, who got to Soria on Thursday night. He walked Bregman on 7 on Thursday.
Got 17 home runs, of which 13 have been hit to straightaway left field. But there is a gap in left center, and we saw him plug that gap early in the series.
Sox have Moncada, Sanchez, and Engel coming up. And while that is the bottom of the order, it looks a lot like the top of the order, typically against a right-handed pitcher, which is what they'll see, you would imagine.
You certainly would think so.
One and two.
That was a different look from Soria. He's dropping down lately, a la James Shields, and because hitters haven't seen it very much, first time they do, it's usually a take, and that was one of those. And there is James throwing yesterday, enjoying his day off today.
One and two. Outside. Springer at first, Kemp at second. Two. Swing and a miss, strike three.
Let's take a look at a high-speed action powered by Xfinity, and it came off the bat of Jose Altuve leading off the fourth inning. He got a slider and rode it out of the ballpark. His 9th home run, 44th driven in time. It gave Houston a 1-0 lead. And Altuve has had quite a series. Knocking at the door of 340.
7 for 14 in the series. 4 walks, 1 strikeout. He's on base about half the time the last 3.5 weeks.
Did an amazing run for him, and he got off a little more slowly than he would have liked, but lately starting to heat it up.
Altuve, strike one, and you take a look at back to 2014. Jose Altuve started leading the league in hits. He's got 126 more in his bag of tricks than anybody else in baseball. Abreu's third.
Been a pretty amazing run.
How about Nick Markakis sneaking up there?
Rejuvenated Nick Markakis.
Yeah. Oh, and 2. So how does Soria get Altuve out on 2 strikes?
He just showed him a fastball away, so dipping down sidearm might be a good idea, and throw him that slider sidearm away.
Quick pitch. It was in the dirt.
Field to Todd Tishner, and he says he did not swing.
Springer a walk, Kemp a single. They're at first and second. Jose Altuve. Just off the plate. Soria almost had him.
2 sidearm pitches, both fastballs. It was off the plate. Kevin did a nice job of almost imperceptibly moving it back, but did not get the benefit of the call.
Two and 2. That gets to the backstop. Kemp to third, Springer to second.
Third sidearm pitch of the at bat and third fastball. This one pulled well wide of the plate.
Now what on 3 and 2?
Well, he's got a choice, because I think he can throw a high fastball by him inside.
3-2. He broke it in there for strike 3. Soria aces Altuve, and 2 stranded. Giolito protected. Take on the Blue Jays Saturday, July 28th at 6:10 p.m. All fans are invited to stay for a spectacular post-game fireworks show presented by Magellan Corporation. Get your tickets right now, whitesox.com or 866-SOX-GAME.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game, and it's a man who has taken over the closer role. That is Hector Rondon. You might remember him on the north side of Chicago. He was their closer for a bit. He's on for the 35th time. He's 1-2. 6 for 8 in saves, but the ERA is spectacular, 1.44, as is the 40 strikeouts in 31 1/3 innings.
2 things about Rondon right now. He's given up at least 1 hit in 5 straight outings, and he hasn't thrown since Tuesday.
Usually when that happens, control is an issue. Sox are hoping that the control bug rears its ugly head here in the ninth.
0-2.
That was well brought into the zone by Stassi, because there's a lot of catchers that would not have gotten the benefit of that because they'd catch it and the glove would have gone down. Take a look at his glove. It's a low pitch and he brings it straight up.
1-2. Fastball averages about 97 this year, the fastest of Rondon's career. That one at 97, 1 down.
Just like we promised, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment, and that is the safety squeeze play with 2 strikes on Marwin Gonzalez. He squares around and lays down a perfect bunt. Lucas could do nothing with it. Good timing on the part of Gurriel, and that is the difference in the ball game.
Sanchez floats it to shortstop. Gonzalez has to wait, and his peg is on time.
Looked like he caught that barehanded and threw in one motion, so he got trapped. He didn't read it off the bat. A lot of times an infielder or a pitcher won't know how hard the ball is hit, doesn't know whether to charge or wait back. In this case, he waits back. The ball has a lot of spin, and sometimes it has so much spin that it spins in your hand and you can't get a good grip. That was not the case, and he got it there for a second big out.
That ended up being a very sleek play.
Yes, it was, and could be a game saver before it's said and done.
Adam Engel checks his swing and doesn't go. Ball 1. Adam hit the ball well in the 5th. He doubled to left. He was stranded at third. .98 from Rondon.
Doesn't look like he's doing anything fancy. It looks like he's feeling pretty good about that fastball today. He's just leaning back and trying to get as much as he can on it.
1-2.
Capacity crowd on their feet, knocking at the door of 40,000 fans for the second ball game in a row.
And the Astros have swept the season series against the Sox 7-0. Well-pitched game. Giolito did everything he could to keep the Sox in. The Astros were one better.
I thought this was just an outstanding performance by Lucas here today. He went 7 1/3, gave up 2 runs on only 3 hits. This is a red-hot Astro ball club. He quieted their offense. But at the end, the Astros just a little too good. This one well contested, as was the first game in the series. The middle 2, not so much. But it's a much-deserved and needed off day tomorrow, and then we will see you on the plane.
Sounds good. And then see you against the Cardinals on Tuesday as the H flag carried by Orbit flies for the final time this season.